Automating AWS S3 Events with Shell Scripting, a comprehensive guide. This podcast is brought to you by Business Compass LLC. We are an Amazon Web Services advanced consulting partner. We build and migrate workloads to Amazon Cloud. Our website is businesscompassllc.com. Our phone number is 973-638-2228. Our email address is contact@businesscompassllc.us. Amazon Web Services, AWS, Simple Storage Service, S3, provides powerful capabilities for storing and managing data. One of the most valuable features of S3 is event triggering, which allows you to respond to changes in your S3 buckets automatically. This podcast will help you set up AWS S3 event triggering using shell scripting. What is AWS S3 event triggering? AWS S3 event triggering is a mechanism that allows you to automatically execute actions when specific events occur in your S3 buckets. These events could be object creation, deletion, or restoration from a glacier. By leveraging S3 event notifications, you can automate workflows, initiate data processing, or trigger alerts. Why use AWS S3 event triggering? Using S3 event triggering brings several advantages. Automation: automatically process data, update databases, or trigger notifications without manual intervention. Scalability: easily handle large volumes of data changes in real time. Integration: seamlessly integrate with other AWS services like Lambda, SNS, and SQS to build robust, serverless applications. Efficiency: reduce operational overhead and streamline workflows by responding to events as they happen. Prerequisites for AWS S3 event triggering. Before you begin, ensure you have the following prerequisites in place. An AWS account with the necessary permissions. AWS CLI is installed and configured on your local machine. Basic knowledge of shell scripting. Familiarity with AWS Lambda and IAM roles. Setting up AWS S3 event triggering with shell scripting. Follow these steps to set up S3 event triggering using shell scripting. Step 1. Create an IAM role. First, create an IAM role that the Lambda function will assume. This role needs permission to access S3 and execute Lambda functions. AWS IAM create role name Lambda role assume role policy document file : // trust policy.json. AWS IAM attach role policy role name Lambda role policy arn. AWS IAM AWS policy / Amazon read only access. AWS IAM attach role policy role name Lambda role policy arn. AWS IAM AWS policy / service role / os Lambda basic execution role. In the trust policy.json file, define the trust relationship. Version: October 17, 2012. Statement: effect: allow. Principle: service: lambda.amazonos.com. Action: STS assume role. Step 2. Create an S3 bucket. Next, create an S3 bucket where the events will be triggered. AWS CP create bucket my S3 event bucket region us east 1. Step 3. Create a Lambda function. Create a Lambda function that S3 events will trigger. First, write a simple Lambda function and zip it. Echo exports.handler equals async event equals greater than console.log S3 event greater than index.js. Zip function.zip index.js. Then, create the Lambda function. AWS Lambda create function name Steven handler. Zip file philip : / function.zip handler index.handler runtime Node.js 14.x. Role arn AWS IAM : your account ID role / Lambda role. Step 4. Configure the Lambda function. Set up the S3 bucket to trigger the Lambda function on specific events. AWS CP put bucket notification configuration bucket my S3 event bucket. Notification configuration. Lambda function configurations. Lambda function arn AWS Lambda us east 1 : your account ID function Steven handler. Events S3 : object created. Step 5. Test the Lambda function. Upload a file to your S3 bucket to test the event triggering. AWS S3 CP test file.txt S3 : / my S3 event bucket /. Check the logs of the Lambda function to ensure it was triggered correctly. AWS logs filter log events log group name AWS / Lambda / Steven handler. Conclusion: AWS S3 event triggering with shell scripting is a powerful way to automate responses to changes in your S3 buckets. Following the steps outlined in this podcast, You can set up a robust system that integrates seamlessly with other AWS services, improving efficiency and scalability in your workflows. Thank you for listening to our podcast. Please share this podcast, visit our website and follow our social media links.